Hey, what's going on YouTube? So I'm DJ Rain. This is my first video. I just want to come out here and I wanted to show you guys kind of how we're supposed to, how DJs who do things elitely actually become to get to where they are now. Afrojack, how do they get to where they're at right now? First thing, a little bit about me. I am 17. I DJ at gigs. I'm from Texas, and I'm really just here to kind of help you guys, help the beginners. In my first few episodes, kind of learn, what it actually takes to get to the next level, to get to where you're actually motivated. So I'm just gonna go out there. I'm gonna say right now, if you're not motivated to DJ, you're just doing it because you think it's cool. It's you're not going to get anywhere with that. I mean, if you're just running virtual DJ, which is the very basic application that you can run off of the iTunes store, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're not going to get anywhere with that. All right, you're gonna have to be motivated. So this is more of a video for DJs who are motivated, who are good at what they do, but they don't understand how to get gigs or how to move on to the next level and actually show their skills in public. So I'm younger, but I still know what I'm doing. First thing is first. If you run virtual DJ, you're gonna have to take it to the next level. All right. If you actually care enough, you're gonna have to take it to the next level. And what I'm talking about is I'm talking about Serato. You're gonna have to get a board and things of that nature. You're also going to have to get connections. Contrary to what it seems like a bunch of DJs you hear about are always, they think it's easy to. It looks easy to go out there and become an elite DJ, but it's really not in reality. And it's not about how good their skills are. It's not about what they do as far as what they play. It's more or less the fact that they have connections to other DJs that help them get to where they are now because they think they are good. Now, if you look at a local DJ, for instance, I live in Dallas, Texas. If you look at a local DJ, their skills are pretty darn good, but they just don't have the connections to take it to the next level like an Afrojack, or they just don't want to. So my recommendation to people who are my age is to go in there and go talk to a local DJ, or I'm sure you could just look them up on the internet, and they will show up and they'll be most of the time very helpful in helping you move up to the next level. So that would be a connection. But obviously you're gonna have to have the skills and things of that nature. But skills, in my opinion, aren't that big of a deal compared to things like what you play. What you play, in my opinion, is significantly larger than the skills that you possess. So I personally, you will learn that I love rave music. I love EDM, electronic dance music, and things of that nature. And I will go out there and I'll find ways to get that music that is very, to put on my iTunes. And electronic dance music is much harder to get than your typical hip-hop music or pop or whatever you want to say, because you don't really find much of that on iTunes or on Spotify or things of that nature. You're going to actually have to dig deep and find ways to get this music. And a personal preference of mine, I use SoundCloud. SoundCloud specializes in that sort of EDM, dance music, electronic music that's very powerful in a way. I feel like that's what they sort of do, and so what I'll do is I'll get a thing called SoundCloud Downloader. I'll leave the link in the description box, and I'll download that song, and that song will go to my iTunes account, and then I'll sync my Serato with my iTunes, and I got all this iTunes music from my SoundCloud that's just working out fine. So personally, one thing I have experienced is that it's not the type of it's not how good you are. That's not as major as the type of music that you play. If your crowd is, if your crowd just isn't feeling rave music, maybe switch over to hip hop or switch over to, actual dance music and stuff like that people all know and hear at every single, whatever party that you're at. But in my opinion, music is much more key than what you do as far as your skills. It's also the fact that your skills are very limited. So once you once you move past virtual, and in my opinion, virtual DJ should take no longer than 2 weeks to completely just finish and be successful with. I mean, it's a very basic program. It seems like you should know everything within 2 weeks of starting that program, assuming you DJ every day, and you're gonna move on and you're gonna move up to a thing. And I use Pioneer. I kind of show you guys what I use. I use it's actually in its box right now because I just got home, but I use the Digital DJ SSR, which is a very basic Pioneer device, but at the same time, it works. It's very successful. In my opinion, the differences between boards of Pioneer, Tractor, stuff a lot of that nature, there really isn't a significant difference of boards. Even with the more strategic that your board gets, or the harder it is to do, they add in a couple buttons here, a couple buttons there. There really isn't a significant difference as far as what's on the board. So I currently have a starter board until I can save up enough money to get a more expensive one. But again, it all comes down to how much you actually care. And I'm kind of going to give you guys a perspective of how much I actually care. When I started DJing, I actually did start with virtual, and I found it very successful for just having fun. And I stopped for a bit, and I thought, wow, I really like DJing and want to be more motivated about it. I took it to the next level, and what I did was I got this board, and actually the very first thing I did was I got this book. It's called DJing for Dummies, and it's got everything you need in it, from the very beginning to the very end of everything you're looking for. And I even left stick marks in there just to realize what is actually very valuable. And so I read this book, and I went there and I got a board. All right, and so when I got that board, I got these headphones. And if you guys know what Bose are, these are $300 pair of headphones specifically used for DJing and listening to out loud, and it's got noise canceling and all of that, but I really didn't feel like that was a big enough level for me. So I used these for about 2 gigs, and they worked fine, but I really kind of just felt like I wasn't taking it to the next level. And so I would do some research, and I started looking up some stuff every day for about 2 hours. I'd go on YouTube and just look up videos and stuff like that of how DJs do this and how all this comes together. And it's actually really neat because I don't know this myself. It's basically a YouTube video for free that's teaching you what to do. So I kind of just went through that, and that's how I kind of became really good, as I practiced every day, and I looked up this stuff, and I found my music on SoundCloud and on YouTube and all this other stuff, and I would download it and go to my iTunes and look at all this stuff, and it just all seemed to converge, and it all seemed like I was doing really well. But I mean, in my opinion, the one thing that I was missing was my transitioning. And my transitioning was off because I was mixing a key that was, an A minor with a B minor or something like that. It's a very hard, or D minor, I'm sorry. It's a very hard mix because you're trying to mix a song, one that's really high rhythm and really high beat versus one that's really low, and it just doesn't work. It's also the fact that my beat per minute was off, and so what I did is I went out there and I looked up a YouTube video on how to beat match, is what it's called, and I really started doing strong with that, and that's when I got my first gig, and I got these headphones as well. When I started becoming a lot better, I got these headphones that showed how much I actually cared. And I take these off, but these are, if you guys don't know what V-Moda is, and you want to become an elite DJ, search V-Moda on Google or go to vmoda.com, and you will go out there and you will definitely get some elite tips and elite headphones and whatnot that professional DJs use. I think Afrojack uses these, and what you see here is just, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these, but these are for professional DJ headphones. You can customize them and stuff like that. And I went out there and I also got one of these. You guys can't read that. It says DJ Rain on it. And it just comes to show how much you actually care and how devoted you are to being at good elite DJ. I apologize, guys. But that's just a little tip. I mean, it's not about your skills. It's more or less what you play. That kind of gave you a place of where I get my music from. And if you guys have any questions or are interested in anything that I use personally, as far as my turntable, my headphones, my anything of that nature, my speakers, my lighting, anything like that, please send me a message. But this is, I think, my first video, and I really just wanted to be passionate about separating the people who actually care versus the people who are doing it for fun. And with everyone thinking that they can be a DJ, and everyone running virtual who thinks that they can be, the next Afrojack or the next RO Grime or someone like that, I really feel like so a video like this is a good video to recognize the people who are actually care enough and to be an elite DJ when they become older, or people who are just doing it for fun. So categorize yourself. And my next few videos, I'll talk about the categories that we will be going over, and the categories that people should be looking into, categories that people aren't, and I'm just going to kind of break it off like a branch on a tree. So, alright, thank you, YouTube. Please like, rate, and subscribe, and give me some feedback. Appreciate it. Thanks. Peace out.